As I take up my pen at leisure and in complete retirement, in good health furthermore, though tired, so tired that I shall only be able to proceed by short stages and with frequent pauses for rest, as I take up my pen, then, to commit my confessions to this patient paper in my own neat and attractive handwriting, I am assailed by a brief misgiving about the educational background I bring to an intellectual enterprise of this kind. But since everything I have to record derives from my own immediate experience, errors and passions, and since I am therefore in complete command of my material, the doubt can apply only to my tact and propriety of expression, and in my view, these are less the product of study than of natural talent and a good home environment. This last has not been wanting, for I come of an upper class, though somewhat dissolute family. For several months my sister Olympia and I were looked after by a Fräulein from Vevey, though it is true she presently had to decamp, because female contention arose between her and my mother, with my father as its object. My godfather, Schimmelpriester, with whom I was on the most intimate terms, was a greatly admired artist, whom everyone in our little town called Herr Professor, though it is doubtful whether he was officially entitled to this distinction. And my father, though corpulent, possessed much personal charm, and always laid great stress on the choice and lucid use of words. He had French blood on his grandmother's side, had himself spent his student years in France, and, as he assured us, knew Paris like the palm of his hand. He was fond of sprinkling his conversation with French phrases, such as "c'est ça," "épatant," "parfaitement," and the like. To the end of his days he remained a great favourite with the ladies. This only by way of preface and out of its proper sequence. As to my natural instinct for good form, that is something I have always been able to count on all too well, as my whole career of fraud will prove, and in the present literary undertaking I believe I can rely on it implicitly. Moreover, I am resolved to employ the utmost frankness in my writing, without fear of being reproached for vanity or impudence. For what moral value or significance can attach to confessions written from any point of view except that of truthfulness? The Rhine Valley brought me forth, that richly blessed and benign region, harsh neither in its climate nor in the quality of its soil, rich in cities and villages, peopled by a merry folk. It must be among the sweetest regions of the habitable globe. Here, sheltered from rough winds by the mountains of the Rhine district and happily exposed to the southern sun, flourish those famous communities whose very names make the wine-bibber's heart rejoice: Frauenthal, Johannisberg, Rudesheim. And here, too, is that favoured town in which, only a few years after the glorious founding of the German Empire, I first saw the light of day. It lies slightly to the west of the bend the river makes at Mainz. With a population of some 4,000 souls, it is renowned for its sparkling wines, and is one of the principal ports of call for the steamers plying up and down the Rhine. Thus the gay city of Mainz was very near, as were the Taunus Baths, patronized by high society, Homburg, Langenschwalbach, and Schlangenbad. The last could be reached in a half-hour trip by narrow-gauge railway. How many summertime excursions we made, my parents, my sister Olympia, and I, by boat, by carriage, or on the train. Enticements lay in every direction, for nature and human ingenuity had everywhere provided charms and delights for our enjoyment. I can still see my father in his comfortable checked summer suit as we sat in the garden of some inn, a little way back from the table, because his paunch prevented him from drawing up close, immersed in his enjoyment of a dish of prawns washed down by golden wine. My godfather, Schimmelpriester, was often with us, keenly studying people and landscape through his big artist's glasses and absorbing both great and small into his artist's soul. My poor father owned the firm of Engelbert Krull, makers of the now discontinued brand of champagne, Loreley Extra Cuvée. Their cellars lay on the bank of the Rhine, not far from the landing, and often, as a boy, I used to linger in the cool vaults, wandering pensively along the stone-paved passages that led back and forth between the high shelves, examining the array of bottles which lay on their sides in slanting rows.